Well, Happy New Year. Today we're talking about a couple books that I read in 2022, and I think you as a creative should as well. Also, new year, new intro. Here we go. Well, if you don't know who I am, my name is Tony, and I am a filmmaker photographer in the St. Louis area. Today we're talking about books, which is a little different than what I typically do, but it all connects with the whole creativity and helping you become a better creative. Now, your brain is just like anything else. The more that you work it, the stronger it gets. The more that you don't work it out, the weaker it gets, just like if you're talking about working out your body. So it's very important to read. It's very important to continue to learn and work that brain. Now, reading is very interesting because it's different than any other kind of form of learning. What happens is when you're reading, it forces you to focus on one thing and process one thing. Yes, your mind kind of wanders, but it does something that there's nothing else like it. Now, you can learn from podcasts or videos. Obviously, I'm a big fan of learning from videos. I've got a whole YouTube channel on helping you become a better creative. But what I'm saying is when you're reading, you are working out that muscle of focus, which is a big deal for creatives because we need to be able to focus. We need to be able to power through those tough situations. All right, that's enough about reading. If you don't do it yet, I would suggest starting small. Start with a section, start with a chapter. Don't try and take on a whole book in one setting or even a week. Take your time, start small, little chunks, and eventually you'll be able to read much longer and retain much more information. I read 100% digital on my iPad now, so which I love. You can highlight, you can take notes, and then I've got a whole list after I'm done with that book of thoughts and things that I can work on and go back to those notes and be able to process through those thoughts much easier. It's a system that works really well for me, and I've just completely switched to using an iPad. All right, let's get into these 5 books. I've read all 5 of these books in the past year, and I just want to pass them on to you. Most of them are all about helping you become a better creative. Here we go. The first one is the classic Atomic Habits, which is a really popular book, but there's a reason why it's popular. James Clear does just an excellent job talking about habits and helping you build new habits into your life. The whole idea of starting small, that's in this book. It will help you work through your habits and just become a better creative, a better person. It'll help you in all areas of your life, but you can absolutely apply a lot of the information in this book to your craft. Let's keep going. Next one is a book called Hustle and Float, which this book I actually just finished right at the end of the year. The whole idea is this idea of rafting, like whitewater rafting. You cannot be in the rapids all of the time. Eventually, those rapids are gonna level out and you're gonna be able to float a little bit, catch your breath, kind of refocus, get back in the game, and then the rapids come again. This book talks a ton about the relationship of work and creativity and how in the past 100 years, that relationship has completely changed. In the early 1900s, when you start thinking about like Henry Ford and the production line, it was all manual labor, and in fact, creativity was discouraged a little bit. But now we live in this knowledge working culture, the gig economy, where you create gigs and that support your life, freelance, all of that stuff. So obviously this was really important to me, but it talks about all of that and how it's kind of ruined that idea that you're never not working, and kind of just develops the whole process and helps you understand what is the most productive you can be as a creative. So if you're struggling with some of those things, I would highly suggest reading this book. It's incredible. All right, Stolen Focus. This is another one that I think it actually came out in 2021 or 2022, but this is the book that I was talking about helped me understand just how important reading is, because it helps you develop your focus. And if we don't have focus, we're not finishing projects, we're not getting new clients, we're not being able to just fight through the grind of those hard, difficult things. And so it's just been a really good book for me to read through and kind of understand how to to maximize my focus. Let's keep going here. Think Again. Adam Grant is a huge organizational philosopher. He works with a lot of big organizations and helps putting these processes and strategies. And if you've never heard of Adam Grant, you probably have, or you've probably heard of quotes or some of the books that he's written in the past. But really good information. And in this book, what he does is he kind of breaks down this idea that we're pretty stubborn and we get stuck in our ways. And in order to rethink and become a better person, a better creative, better at our craft, we have to unlearn and unthink some of the things that we've thought from the very beginning. And it kind of challenges me through thinking through all of those things. Really good book. I highly suggest this one. This is one that is not as popular. I believe it came out in the past year or two as well. And it's called The Mountain Is You. And this book is all about self-sabotage, and it kind of helps you overcome some of the subconscious things that you may be doing to sabotage your career, or maybe your leadership path or your growth. And it really helped me work through some pretty crazy things this 2022 year that was, for me, it was kind of a tough year. I had to deal with quite a bit of failure and some struggles and growing. And so I read this book about self-sabotage that I typically wouldn't have even ever considered, but it kind of hit home right when I needed it. So if you feel like you're kind of stuck, maybe working through something, maybe you've lost some focus, you're just asking yourself, why can't I finish this project, or any of those kind of questions, I think this is a great book for you. So go check that one out. And then this is a freebie. Adam Grant actually works with these people pretty frequently, and I came across this book from his Instagram. I think he shared a quote or a post and got me looking into this book. It's called Big Feelings: How to Be Okay When Things Are Not Okay. Which it's I don't know about you, but as a creative, as a Enneagram 7, if you're familiar with that, I am a pretty big feelings, big emotion kind of guy. And this book helped me kind of figure out what is going on with these feelings and how to deal with them and how to work through them. And it was a really great book for me. Like I said, dealing with some of those failures and working through some anger. And there's some scientific reasonings and understanding in this book that helps me understand who I am, why I'm responding the way that I am. So that's a freebie. Lots of good stuff. So, 5 books, actually 6, that have kind of really shaped a lot of my philosophy and my ideas in the past few months. And so I just want to pass them on to you and encourage you and challenge you. You should be reading. Make sure that you're reading. All right, guys, we'll get back to the camera stuff in the next few videos. It's a new year. I'm going to try and be a little bit more consistent. I say that all the time, but I did want to pass on these books to you because they're so good and they have done so much for me in the past few months to help me become a better creative, which is all connected in this crazy world that we're trying to figure out when it comes to cameras, when it comes to creativity, when it comes to growth, when it comes to process. And I just encourage you, make sure you're reading if you haven't been. Leave a suggestion or two of books that you've read that have been really good for you, that kind of help you become a better creative, or something that you've worked through in your past. I would love to hear some suggestions of some great books that you've got in your bookshelf. Other than that, make sure to subscribe if you want to continue to grow, if you want to continue to learn this year, and we'll see you in the next one.